range ballistic missile. We had to take the warhead off. Yeah, that's what we used back then. All those early rockets were early IRBMs or ICBMs. But the next guy to go up, the very next American astronaut to go up from the Cape is Gus Grissom. And he went up on a rocket exactly like that. Same 15-minute flight, barely enough to get him in space. And they assembled, and they rolled it out actually this morning, and it's sitting in the middle of the pad. I was hoping that it would be out there for you to see, but it's still the hazy out here. And in the middle of the buildings, there's 4 other poles, and you can see where those other 4 poles are.
The early ones, the Mercury, incorporated a second stage, a solid rocket, Corporal, on top of the German V2, and it became the launch vehicle known as Bumper. A missile go off course, landed in Mexico, hit a graveyard in Tijuana, and about 6 months after they declared the base operational, a Atlas ballistic missile going out of the government with their islands in the Caribbean providing ground tracking stations. We would launch all the way down to Ascension Island. Servicing, they can go offshore 20 miles, do a test launch, still supported by our range, but the general public will never know about it because applications back. This capsule is first they did not require the astronauts to undock, turn around, nose in, and dock up again. They came up with a risky method of having the astronauts open a hatch at the aft end of their capsule and heat shield. And that's what we have here, is the heat shield that is so important during re-entry into the atmosphere. They cut a damn hole. Nuclear warheads were able to be repurposed as space launch vehicles. Was our first photo reconnaissance satellite. A transport plane towing a hook and actually snagged that parachute in midair and reeled it in. We have satellites for early launch detection on the outside and it's on the backside. Yeah. Yeah. How many people know what the current Mexico had seen some oil derricks in Texas and stuff, and he wanted something so that provided access to his early scaffolding. He went to a local company. If this was on the tip of the German V2, when Corporal is behind me, imagine how large that German V2 rocket first stage was. On either side. So launching complete, got done with the test fire. There's no need to use a lot of your satellites and geodesic nodes. You see, all supported the early GPS phone. You're actually going to be passing another 6 more as you head in. We are only 400 feet. You want solid protection. The walls are 2 feet thick. The ceiling runs 2 feet. Okay. It was from this launch complex that the United States launched its first time that we incorporated some scientific instruments on it, and it confirmed the existence. We are at Launch Complex 27 rocket set up on the pad. But both the 2 doors. That's heading into the firing room. Now, Let's see her mother or dad take the hot seat.
Dad. Mother.
Now, when they were launching these early rockets, they were using liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen does not want to stay liquid. If that happens too much, you might not have enough liquid oxygen to meet your launch objective. How do you measure how much liquid oxygen you have when it's constantly changing? They came up with a surprisingly simple solution. They drafted and the vehicle was actually stacked on top of a scale. And it would run back and read the weight of the vehicle on this display, lower and lower as the vehicle got lighter. When it got to a certain point, they would tell one of the guys on the console, turn on the pump. They would pump more liquid oxygen into the vehicle. They would watch the needle creep back up. Okay, that's where we need it. Turn off the pump. We're ready to launch. Out to each of our two launch pads. Those water trays supported the risk losing your signal strength. So keeping it at 400 feet gave them they would launch them, radar, and trap them back, feed it into this computer, and the computer would analyze any directions required, and the radio signal would send the directions up to the rocket. Despite the size, it may do with very little computer memory. The amount of memory, or the amount of memory in this computer would fit on this 195,000 plus times. As you look at the display behind some of you, it's not integrated circuits. Those are circuit boards that will interlock up. And the board is stand and whether the wire went through a little scanning donor, and also there's put it back to these computers. So, those corporations did shop. This launch complex did not launch the chimpanzees, we did launch monkeys, smaller versions. But when the chimpanzees were launched, one before after Chevron Glenn launched on the Mercury Atlas program, they were launching lights across the console and a red and white lever. The chips were trained, depending on what color light came on, they would go over the red or the white lever. If they got it correct, they would stop with their spacesuit, telling them, try again. Ham was our first ship in space. He went up, everything worked, he did a great job, came down, came a national aerial launch. The launch on the Atlas booster proved to be a lot more vibration than they anticipated. Lockouts to answer any questions and to point out more items in our repertoire.
Back way to get here. Here's the parking lot, and that's been there for 60 years. But he was in this blockhouse when we launched Alan Shepard. Now this so twice as many as we got here today would have been in this. And here's the firing console right here. And Lord Von Braun in that picture was actually right behind this console. He was able to look out the window there, look at the rocket, and watch that and kind of supervise things. He was not technically on the launch team, but it was his design, and he did supervise the 73-100 group. The guy that actually supervised things is the guy that's out here. This is the launch director, testing out the launch director. He would sit here, and when that rocket started to ignite, they would make a determination, and then they'd go thumbs up or thumbs down, basically. On this console, we have plexiglass in all the consoles here in all the areas. Except right here, we have one opening here, and this is designed for you to put your hand in here, if you would like. And you can push this button, it's the firing command button right there. That's the button that launched Alan Shepard. You can push that button. Okay, oh, there goes the rocket. You can push the button, and it's the same exact way. So you can take pictures here and push the button. All of you can do it, okay? So Von Braun stood right behind there. All this equipment in here has vacuum tubes. Until about 1963, 64, then we had the, you see a little box stuck at 10? There's one right above your head right there. You see that? Over here it stopped at 9:32. We launched Alan Shepard at 9:34. Close enough, but anyway, it was 9:34 in the morning on May 5th, 1961. Any questions here? I'll be outside when you're ready. We'll
paper thing, it's in more copies. But it's unbelievable, isn't it? Well, they didn't have earphones to talk to
Tell me, it was all high-tech stuff. That's an original Delta IV rocket. It's deteriorated now, but it's a current issue vehicle. There's a Polaris submarine launch Honest John. That's a battlefield launch vehicle, nuclear or conventional cross there. That rack of engines is for a Navajo use that system, but at least they were prepared to do it. This rocket here in pieces and looking really deteriorated, that's a Type 1 rocket. That's an intercut. So the other one over there is for pad 31. This is for pad 32. Now, if you look over to the front in this direction here, you'll see 4 poles, and there's a white cement cap. Side by side in a Gemini capsule. Now think bathroom doors right there. If you went down the hallway, that's where the blast door. The blast door is down the hallway. And I know, isn't that crazy? All the bathrooms and all to make it back inside the blanket. So it's always a good idea to have gone to the bathroom before. Make sure. There you go. Don't drink anything. Max. It was a building, is what it was. It was on wheels, and it would roll all.
It's a big VIP view here, like this, at the Saturn V